back to our show.
Hi, guys. Hi, I'm JodieJo, team lead at the Sycamore team with eXprealty.
And I'm Karen Oxner, Umortgage and UCAN United.
Yes, hi again.
Hi again.
Welcome back. There's actually a couple of really hot topics that have been on my clients' minds of recent, and one of them that's kind of come up is lender overlays.
Okay.
And really wanted to talk to you about that because you are very different as a wholesale lender in this market compared to a lot of the big banks and credit unions. So can you tell us a little bit about what lender overlays are and then how they can kind of mess up your deal?
Totally. So every lender has potentially different overlays, and that would basically be they feel strongly about certain scenarios and want to say, I know that this might be the general consensus with guidelines, but we're not really comfortable with this. So we're going to place an additional guideline just for our bank that allows us to be comfortable in this scenario. Even though the rest of the world might be able to do it this way, we are going to place a lender overlay on this particular guideline because we don't feel comfortable, allowing this to, proceed this way.
So what's an example of a lender overlay?
Lenders have overlays to debt ratios, so they might not let you go over a 45% debt ratio, which would mean that they don't want more than 45% of your gross income to be taken up by things like your housing payment, any of your monthly liabilities, your car payment. So they might keep you capped where general consensus or normal underwriting guidelines might have higher allowable debt to income ratios. So that's an example of a lender overlay.
Yeah, so when I say that things can kind of muck up a deal, for example, I had a client that came to me with a pre-qualification letter, and it had a stipulation of a $500,000 price point, and we went in, it wasn't a full pre-approval. I know. So I called the lender, asked a few questions to see where they were in the process of getting all of the information that the underwriter required in order to get pre-approval. Got that information. They ended up giving a pre-approval letter, and then we got under contract. Now, while we were in contract, my buyer actually ended up getting a lovely notification from their lender indicating that they didn't end up qualifying, and it was because of a lender overlay.
Did they share with you what that lender overlay was?
They didn't even share that with their buyers. Yeah. So I ended up sending them over to another lender.
Weird. I think I know who that was.
Yeah.
And that's one nice thing actually about having multiple options when it comes to lending. If I work with a lender that has an overlay to a particular situation and my client falls into that particular situation, I know not to send that client's file to that particular lender, and I make sure that I know the guidelines really, really well, know all the lender overlays really, really well, so that if I've got somebody that might meet this criteria for this lender, but not for this lender, I'm not sending them there. So it's really important that you have that much information because a lender overlay can really, really impact you negatively. And they're sneaky. They're oftentimes not, if people aren't well versed in all their products, they might not know that. So when a file gets into underwriting, that's when they discover that this won't work for this particular bank.
This is why I love working with you on files, because you have so many tools in your toolbox.
Yeah, it's nice to have choices.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. You, as you mentioned, you shop lenders. So it's not just you get Karen Oxner with Umortgage. You get Karen Oxner with all of these other potential lenders that are offering different products that could benefit
based on each person's scenario. And they change all the time, right? I mean, lenders are constantly looking at their guidelines and saying, we are going to loosen our guidelines a little bit here, or we're going to, tighten them a little bit here. So they're constantly making changes. And so it can be really hard to keep up on all those overlays if they do have them. And I really work with a lot of great people that don't have as many overlays or have, you know, a small amount. So I can really custom fit and tailor a loan approval to somebody's specific scenario based on that environment with that lender. So it can really kill a deal. And if you only have one option and you can't switch gears and you can't go somewhere else, yeah, that could be the end of the road for that client and that transaction. That's a heartbreaking. You've got earnest money on the line. You've got reputations on the line. You've got emotions. It's not a good look, and it definitely happens. So important to be working with somebody that's got choices.
A magician at what she does.
Well, and kudos to you for actually following up with that other lender and asking the question, saying, you know, this says pre-qualified. What does that mean? What steps have you taken to ensure that you can get a loan for this buyer? Because I find oftentimes agents don't take that extra level of care to follow up and really ask probing questions or even know what to ask. So working with Jodie and her team, that's critical. You really have to make sure that whoever has qualified and approved your client has done their due diligence and done their job at a really high level. So that's really kudos to you for getting that information early enough in the process that you could send them my way and we could come up with an awesome solution and close on time.
100%. Yeah.
Great job.
Well, years of experience have trained me to know that the market is ever changing, both in the real estate market and in the lending market. And not everybody knows what they're doing.
This market is weeding those people out, though, very, very quickly. I mean, we are all really having to perform at a really high level to, you know, stay relevant and take care of our clients and, you know, build new relationships. And a lot of people are exiting the business because they haven't had to, you know, perform at such a high level. So that's really, that's sharpening our...
Absolutely. And taking care of our clients that's the whole reason why we got into doing the businesses that we do, is to provide for our clients those lovely, lovely home ownership goals. Whether you're selling, buying, investing, that's what we do. We make those dreams happen.
It's so fun.